Hey there, and welcome to Tell Me More, the podcast where real people share real stories. I'm Rebecca, and each week I sit down with students, entrepreneurs, and business professionals from all walks of life to hear their unfiltered experiences, struggles, wins, and everything in between. So, let's get comfy and tell me more. Welcome to today's podcast, and today we are joined with Emily. So, Emily, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I am an employee of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I work with some audiences, some children and parents and families audiences, and I enjoy gardening in my personal time, hanging out with my chickens and my cats. Uh, yeah, that's me.
Wow, that's amazing. Do you live in like a farm style area or
It's not really a farm. We have a relatively small yard, but we are maximizing the use of the yard.
that sounds awesome. I love animals, so that is really cool. Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got into this line of work?
Yeah. So I actually just recently changed jobs, still working in the same department for the same group, but I am currently, as I mentioned before, working with the audiences of children and parents and families. And I'm what's called a program manager. And what that means is I'm the liaison between the staff that are executing the work
Hmm.
and our executives. And I make sure that we understand what the executives want and are aligned with what they want, while also making sure that the executives understand what the staff capacity is. I got into this line of work. It was a bit of an interesting path actually. I started working for the church with FSY conferences for the Strength of Youth conferences.
Hmm.
And even getting to that point was a bit interesting, but we'll get there. Um, with the FSY conferences, I did that for 5.5 years, and I was able to be part of that project when it very first caught on in the United States and Canada. It had been done outside of the United States and Canada for many years prior to that, with relatively little support. When it started in the US and Canada, leaders recognized the need for more support. And so I got to kind of grow it from the ground up.
Oh,
Because I did that and learned so much in that process, I think is why I was then just a few months ago identified as somebody who could take part in this new position. It's new to our department, and I'm one of three.
oh
And
wow.
so we're growing this now from the ground up of what does this organization look like? How do we best support our executives and our staff and make sure that we're all on the same page? So yeah, I was voluntold about the position. Um, and I'm very grateful now. I'm not sure I ever would have left FSY, but I'm grateful now and I'm loving it.
Oh, that's amazing. It sounds like such an interesting job and line of work. Um, Definitely sounds like something I would love to do, like getting to meet and talk to people. That sounds incredible. And so, what do you enjoy most about your current role?
I think the thing I like most, there's probably two things. One of them is um, how emotionally intelligent you need to be in this role,
Hmm.
and that I get to exercise those emotional intelligent muscles.
Yeah,
Um, Being able to read people and understand what they mean, not just hearing what they say.
yeah,
Um, it's very important, and I really enjoy that part of the role. And then also helping people that have more power than me and are more important than I am understand the complexities of what they're asking for and using that emotional intelligence to not make them frustrated,
hmm,
but help them understand that we may not be able to do exactly what they're looking for.
yeah,
The other thing that I really enjoy is that in this position, I get to have a holistic picture of what the department is doing
hmm,
for the audiences that I'm over. My previous position was amazing, but really focused on FSY conferences,
hmm.
where this one is anything and everything to do with
Wow.
children and with parents and families.
Wow, that's incredible. Oh, yeah. No, that sounds like a really enjoyable job.
I love
Um,
it.
that's amazing. So, what has been one of your proudest professional accomplishments so far?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think that it wasn't just me that did
Mhm.
this, but being part of the team that went from 7 sessions in the FSY conference sessions in the US and Canada in 2021 and jumped to 250 sessions
Wow.
the next year was massive. And it was painful and it was difficult, but it was important to our executives. They saw the change that youth and young single adults could go through being
Hmm.
part of FSY. And they said, we can't wait. We can't grow slowly. We have to get full bore, the whole thing right
Wow.
away because we need it so much. And we did it and we survived.
Live to tell the tale.
Yes.
That's incredible. Wow, that I think that would also be a very proud moment for me. Like you can see the hours and the stress and the emotions and everything that has gone into something, but you can see how much it affects people in the like the biggest possible way and positive as well. That is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. And so kind of talking about that, um, what are some of the like major challenges you faced in your career so far, and how did you kind of overcome them?
Um, One of the biggest challenges I faced was early on. I graduated with a degree in special education,
Hmm.
graduated university, and I loved the teaching part of it, but I never really felt settled in that role.
Hmm.
And so I, after a couple of years, moved on to a different role, didn't feel settled there, moved on, didn't feel settled, and that went on for several years. Until I landed the job with FSY conferences. And
Hmm.
then I suddenly felt like I was home and like I was fulfilling what I needed to fulfill.
Yeah.
But it was really hard to feel so unsettled at the beginning. Thankfully, I had my faith and I knew that I was on a path and I hadn't reached my destination, and that was okay. And I still haven't reached my destination, but I'm much more comfortable on the path now.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's amazing. I love the way that you described that. Um, and so what advice would you give to someone who's kind of going through a similar thing that you've gone through?
I would say don't don't settle. If you aren't happy in the position that you're in, do things to change it. It might be as simple as just finding a different job,
Hmm.
but it also might be getting more education or going after a certificate or I don't know, networking with people in a field that you are interested in. And it's okay to do that over and over again. You're not a failure just because you didn't keep the job that you landed right out of university.
Yeah.
Um, so be patient with yourself and be patient with the process, and you'll end up finding something that you love. It might take a really long time, but you'll get there.
Oh, that's great advice. Thank you. Um, and so just kind of on your educational journey, you mentioned that you studied special needs for children and stuff. And so how do you think that that has impacted your career that you're in at the moment?
Yeah, I didn't you don't initially see a lot of connection between what I studied and what I'm doing. However, one of the tenets, one of the most important things of anybody that works for the church is an awareness of those that maybe don't fit the typical mold.
Hmm.
Um, and so my degree in special education vastly enhanced my awareness of those individuals.
Hmm.
And it goes beyond even those with disabilities because my eyes and my heart were open to those with disabilities. I also see those who are some other minority, those who are LGBTQ, those who are maybe because I work for the church, maybe those who are questioning whether the church really is where they belong.
Hmm.
And because I have that awareness, I can then provide a better perspective as we're discussing the creation of products or policy or any other number of things
Yeah.
um, that maybe somebody without that experience wouldn't be able to provide.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad that there's somebody like you who's able to provide a broader scope insight into those things. And so was there like a moment in school or college that you feel significantly influenced your path to where you are now?
Yes, I started the first degree path I was following was actually theater education.
Oh wow.
And I love theater. I love being in plays. I love expressing myself on stage. I'm actually very much an introvert. I'm a shy person, but when I get on stage, when I have a role to play, I'm not a
Yeah.
shy person anymore. Um, and and so I started with that, loved it, and felt really strongly after a year of being in that program that I needed to change.
Oh wow.
And again, this goes back to my faith. I felt like I was being prompted from Heavenly Father to change. And so I prayed and had a lot of conversations with Heavenly Father and ultimately realized that that wasn't just a one-off feeling. It was something I actually needed to do. And I'd never considered going into special education before, but that's eventually what I landed on. And because I went into that, that's why I felt unsettled. If I was a theater teacher, I don't know if I ever would have changed jobs. I don't know that I ever would have landed here, which is
Yeah.
where I really need to be.
Yeah.
Even though I would have been happy there, this is where I need to be.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's amazing. Um, and so have you ever just like thoughts of continuing your education, growing further in any way?
Yes. Yeah, I actually want to go back to school to get my master's of business administration. The only
Okay.
thing holding me back right now is my health. I am struggling with some relatively new health diagnoses, and
Uh,
so I pretty much work and then go home and sleep,
yeah.
um, which doesn't leave a lot of room for doing homework and
Yeah.
the classes. However, I have decided what school I would like to go to, and it offers an online path. And
Yeah.
so I intend, once I figure out a couple of things, I intend to get it and hopefully get it within a year of starting. So,
That's amazing. Well, I am wishing you the best of luck. I think you're gonna do amazing.
well, thank you.
And so why do you think formal education is important, or do you think formal education is important? And what advice would you give to the listeners thinking about should they further their studies?
So that's a little bit of a tricky question because for the most part, my answer is yes. I think formal education is very important.
Hmm.
But going back to my experience with those who don't fit the typical mold,
Yeah,
there are some who don't thrive in a formal education atmosphere. And so more important than formal education is education.
yeah,
Um, and so while most people benefit from that formal education approach, I would my advice would be even if you don't fit into that typical mold where formal education is the way to go,
hmm,
don't stop learning. Don't stop growing. There are trade schools, there are certificates, there's even, jobs that will teach you on the job how to do the job. You can succeed. You can become way more than you probably dream you can become if you don't stop pushing yourself. You are in a place now where you don't have your parents constantly pushing you the same way you did when you were a kid. You
yeah,
have to be your source of motivation and don't give up on yourself. You can do more than you think.
yeah, definitely. Oh, thank you so much. And then just as we kind of like head towards the end of the interview and discussion, um, I just wanted to know what are you passionate about outside of work? So you kind of mentioned your cats and your chickens, um, and gardening, but what are some of your passions?
So beyond the cats, chickens and gardening, I love Legos,
Oh wow.
those building sets, and particularly nerdy Legos. Harry Potter and Star Wars are my favorite, and Lord of the Rings
Uh-huh.
Legos. And along with that, I love movies and books that are along the lines of Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and Star Wars. Um, Anything and everything nerdy. I love to play the piano and to sing as well. It's a
Mhm.
great way, it's an emotional outlet for me. And then cooking. You will often find me experimenting with cooking, and it turns out good most of the time. Sometimes the experiment is not a successful one.
Yes, I could definitely resonate with that. Oh, that
Hmm.
sounds like so much fun, and it's yeah, I my brother will love you with Star Wars.
I love it.
And so, how do you like to spend your weekends or your downtime?
When I'm not dealing with the health issues that make me sleep, most
Yes.
of the time, I really spend most of my time out in the garden.
Hmm.
Um, and when it's nice weather.
Yes.
Um, so I will spend a lot of time in the garden. I actually just finished building some trellises in my garden.
Oh wow.
And it's looking really beautiful. It's becoming kind of an oasis, a peaceful place for me.
Oh wow.
Um, when the weather isn't nice, I will spend my time reading books or cooking.
That's amazing. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Um, and then kind of one of the last questions is if you could go back and give your younger self some advice, what would it be?
Mm, it would be that I don't need to be or to look perfect. Um, who I am is enough.
Hmm.
That doesn't mean I shouldn't push myself to grow, but I don't need to be perfect right now.
That's really great advice. Thank you so much. And then kind of we have kind of two last questions. So, what is one fun fact about you that somebody might not know about you?
Hmm. I, I have lots of random facts about me. One of my best, I've got a cat's tooth in my thumb.
Oh my goodness.
When I was a child, I had lost a cat and then thought I found my cat. It was not my cat.
Ah,
Um,
yes.
and the cat bit me, and I reacted by flinging my hand out, and the cat went flying, but it left its tooth behind.
Oh my
We went to the
goodness.
doctor, and they said, we could do surgery to remove it, but it's not going to hurt you to leave it in. And so
Oh
we
my
left it in.
goodness.
So I'm
That's
basically Catwoman, That's pretty sure that's how she got her superpowers.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're actually on this podcast are actually interviewing Catwoman disguised
Perfect.
as Emily.
Yes.
That is awesome. That's a very fun fact.
Yeah.
Okay, and so the last question is you've given a lot of great advice, but if you could give like a lasting impact advice, what would you give?
I think um, one of the most important pieces of advice I ever received
Hmm.
was to forgive myself. Um, I am very good at forgiving other people
Hmm.
and giving charity to other people, um, and grace to other people, but I am not so good at doing that for myself,
Hmm.
um, which has held me back in a lot of ways. And I'm not perfect at it now even, but as I've gotten better at forgiving myself,
Hmm.
I've found that I've actually improved faster. um, when I'm not so focused on that one mistake I made, that means that I can fix that one mistake and five other mistakes in the time it took me to focus on the one mistake.
Yeah.
Um, so give yourself grace and recognize you will make mistakes. It's a guarantee, and just plan for it, and it'll be okay.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It has been amazing to interview you and to get to know you and just to have this chat and discussion. I feel like I've grown from it. But thank you so much. You are a wonderful person, and I really appreciate you being on this podcast.
Well, thank you for your time. It was wonderful to speak with you.
Well, I hope that you have an amazing day further and that you are able to get the rest that you need, um, and do the fun things that you would like to do. Well, thank you so much, Emily, for taking the time and sitting down with us so we could really get to know you better. And I've learned so much from you, and we are wishing you the absolute best for the studies ahead and the work ahead. You are a very, very driven and very passionate person, and I'm so grateful to have gotten to have this interview with you now. Well, thank you so much to our viewers and listeners. This has been another amazing episode on the Tell Me More podcast. We can't wait to have many more with you.